Hello everyone, my name is Ripanshu. Welcome to the channel for Azure Learning. So today we are going to discuss about the Azure Cloud, what exactly the cloud is, why we need, and what is the Azure on the cloud platform, what are the services they are providing. We will be discussing in brief, and we will be having a tour on the Azure portal just to understand what is the basic feature Azure is providing. So this is very basic video for the beginners to understand or to start with the Azure. So to understand the cloud, why we need that, let's discuss a use case, or let's try to understand a use case. Organization suppose wants to deploy multiple web application on the server to access the data or to access the application for the general public or for anyone. To host those applications on the servers, that organization need an infrastructure. To create that infrastructure, they need to buy a servers, they need to buy a virtual machines, they need to buy a racks, they need to create a network, and they need storage devices, they need softwares, they need a networking management things. They need lot of things to deploy those applications for the clients. Cloud is simply providing a platform, a ready-made solution for a client who wants to deploy those applications over the internet. But cloud is not limited only to provide those hosting environment. Cloud is providing currently more than 200 services. Those services can be categorized in majorly five categories. We talk about those five categories. Those are Azure Application Services, Azure Data Services, Azure Development Services, Azure Compute Services, Azure Network. So basically, if we go one by one, what the Azure Application Services? As name suggests, under the Azure Application Services, we will be covering, or Azure will be covering all the applications, ready-made applications or ready-made services, software services, business logic services, which Azure is providing, that comes under Azure application. Like we talk about the Azure AI. Azure AI is providing speech recognition, voice synthesis, face detection, video indexing, language services, translation services, whatever you think that can be used directly in your applications to enhance the performance or to enhance the functionality that Azure AI is providing. What is the benefit of using the application service? So suppose you have an application for an attendance management. In attendance management system, everyone is coming and they are marking their attendance by signing or by just marking the website I am present. They can integrate their application using the Azure AI without writing much code, just by enabling the face detection or using the Azure IoT using the biometric device. They don't need to write a whole logic or whole application for detecting the face or for the fingerprints detection. So these are the ready-made solution which any business application can use. Next is the Azure Data Service. Under the Azure Data Services, mostly storage things used to come, like SQL database or NoSQL database, cache, or wherever you just think about the storage, a physical storage that Azure is providing to the data. Azure Development Services is a development environment what a developer used to use, like Visual Studio IDE, Visual Code IDE, Python IDE, multiple IDEs for the multiple coding language. Most of the coding language, what Microsoft is providing, IDE, all those IDE is supported by the Azure developer. Even Azure DevOps for the deployment, like CI/CD, for the delivery process, for the deployment process, that Azure DevOps is providing that functionality. And Azure Compute Services, if we talk about under Azure Compute Services, we have Azure VM, Azure Container Services, Azure App Services, Azure Batch, Azure Service Fabric. So basically, these are the services what Azure is providing. Now we will go to the Azure portal and see how it looks like, and we will just take a tour on. I am just opening the Azure Microsoft door. I am going to sign in to my account. So this is my account. You can create a free account. In free account, you will be getting for 30 days $200 and 25 services approximately free. And for otherwise, you can just provide a credit card information, and it will direct to 2 rupees INR. And whenever you use those services, charges will be deducted from your credit card. And to operate very frequently, or to just avoid anything, to be very handy, you can install the Azure application on your mobile, and to control where if you don't want to use those services, you just disable or enable from your mobile. So I'm just getting login from the So if we just go to portal, so as you log in, you can see the recommendations. You have left navigation where you can see the dashboard, the home page, and all the services, what major services, what Azure is providing. In the top navigation, we have a notification, we have a settings, we have a web profile. It looks like a web portals or web services, what we used to see for different kind of web. For different web. If we just go to the all services, you can see we have a virtual machine, we have a app services, we have a storage account, SQL database, static web app. We have approximately 200 servers. A dash here, if you just go, you can configure your data dashboard, what exactly you want to see in your dashboard, and you can have a multiple dashboard also. So we have a dashboard 1, we have a dashboard 2. You can add titles and see what all type of a dashboard, what all the dashboard you need for your code. I don't have any resource as per now. 1 hour before I have just created a test resource, but I have deleted, so you can see we don't have anything in that particular. If you want to create any resource, you can create it. All the alerts you can see. If you have any logs, what all the activities you have done, these all the things. This is the basic Azure looks like. In the next video, we are going to cover how to create a virtual machine and how to create a IS or install the IS.